These are the plaintiffs, Lourdes Rodriguez and Isis Barlow. Lourdes says Isis, her granddaughter, spent the night at the defendant's house, and the defendant allowed 2 boys to come over at 2:30 in the morning. Turns out when Isis woke up, her iPhone 4S was missing, and she thinks one of the boys stole it. The defendant was the responsible party in the house. She let the misfit boys into her house, and she thinks the defendant should be held responsible for the missing phone. They're suing for $1,179, the value of the phone. This is the defendant, Allison Alexander. She says Isis has lost her phone before, and she thinks the girl's simply not responsible enough to have such an expensive device. She doesn't remember seeing Isis with a phone in her house and has no idea when or how the girl lost it. All she does know is she's not responsible because no one saw how the phone disappeared. She's accused of being a phony.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say that their girl stayed over at the defendant's house with the defendant's girl, and in the middle of the night, the defendant's girl invited 2 boys over. They stayed all night and stole the plaintiff's phone. But the defendant says the plaintiff's daughter loses phones all the time. It's the case of the phone pilferer.
Lourdes Rodriguez and Isis Barlow, you are suing Allison Alexander for $1,179 for a stolen iPhone 4S. Okay, talk to me. I'm dying to hear it.
On April 12th of 2013, she asked me to stay over Jasmine's house.
How old are you?
16.
Okay.
And I took her there at about 9 o'clock in the evening. And the following day, at about 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I think it was, anywhere between that time, she called me telling me that her phone was stolen from the house, from where she was staying at. Now, I wasn't aware.
What day of the week was this?
Weekend.
It was a weekend? And so you went over to, what's your daughter's name?
Yasmin.
Yasmin's house. And what happened?
We hung out. She had 2 boys come over. I had asked to come over her house. I asked to sleep over. She said yes. I went over there, and around like 10:30, 11, 2 boys that came over. She had told me only one was coming. I didn't know that another boy was coming. I had never met these boys before. Their names were Moses and Chris. And one kid was really cool, and the other one he gave a weird vibe. Like, he kept staring at me mad weird, and I was like, okay. And we hung out. At 11, we went to the store. We came back. We kept hanging out. Around like 2 in the morning, I started to get tired. The kid, Chris, had already fell asleep. He was asleep in a chair. And Yasmin and Moses were just hanging out, talking in the room.
Which one was a weirdo to you, Chris?
Chris.
Okay.
He kept making like weird comments towards me. And I don't know if it was because I was white. Yasmin had told me he had a problem with white people. I don't know.
What kind of white comments was he making?
Like, he was playing rap music, and he was like, "Oh, is my rap music scaring you?" And I'm like,
okay.
No. And eventually I fell asleep, and I woke up. She had came into the room at like 6 in the morning, telling them they had to leave.
At 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, curfew. Okay.
And Yasmin had got up.
Did you know these boys were still over there at 6 in the morning?
Yes.
Is that only strange to me? I mean, they're 16.
No. It was strange to me too.
So did you not know the boys were there? You say you did know. So
Yes,
why didn't you say get the heck out of here at some other hour that's not 6 in the morning?
Because I did, and Yasmin said that the boys they couldn't go home at that time.
Why not?
Because they wouldn't be allowed in to their homes.
Well, that's unfortunate for them, isn't it? I guess they shouldn't have stayed out past curfew. Right? So why don't you just throw them out of your house? It's your house. Why don't you act like a mother and not a friend?
Well, because my mom thought that I shouldn't throw them out at that time in the morning.
Your mom thought that you... Nice advice. Look at us now.
So are the defendant's parents irresponsible or realistic?
Irresponsible, because I'm pretty sure my mom wouldn't let anybody do that.
Your mom is nodding. By the way, really, the mom?
Yes.
Good genes, let me tell you. Wow, going inside the courtroom.
All right, so now what did can I just ask you a question? What would she have said if she knew that there were 2 boys there till 6 in the morning?
She would have came and got me or something.
So why didn't you call her?
Because
with the phone that you still had when you went to bed.
I didn't know they were staying there until that time. I had fell asleep with my phone and everything. And then at like, so she came in, she woke everyone up and I continued to stay sleeping. Yasmin had got up and walked them out. And then at like 10, I had woken up again. And when I wake up, I check for my phone, see the time or whatever. I felt around for my phone on the bed and I couldn't feel it. So I went back to sleep.
Hold on. When she woke everybody up at 6, you had your phone?
Yes.
And then she walks them out. And then what happens?
I woke up again and the phone was gone.
So they were out when the phone became missing. Where'd you lose your phone, sweetie?
In the bed, in the house. I went to sleep with the phone. Right, but if you're saying that she wakes everybody up and rouses up the 2 boys and says you have to leave now, and you look at your phone and it's 6 o'clock, and then she takes them out, they're out when you have your phone when they're being taken out. So why do you figure they stole your phone? I didn't figure that. That's what Yasmin said. Yasmin said, I think the boy Chris took it.
But you don't think that?
I don't know where my phone is.
Well, then why are you suing them? Why is it her fault, Mom?
Because the boys were in her house at the time.
But did you hear your daughter or not?
Well, that wasn't what she had
What
said
had she
in the
told
beginning.
you?
She told me that the phone went missing while the boys were there.
Okay. And then why are you suing for $1,179 for a used iPhone 4S?
Well, actually, the phone was just a month old when it got stolen.
What did you pay for it?
She got it in March.
What did you pay for it?
Her mother had all those papers.
Wait, who are you?
I'm the grandmother.
You're her grandmother? Oh my God. How old did you have your baby?
At 18.
How old did she have her baby?
15.
You still look really young.
Thank you.
I know. Okay. Do you have custody of her?
Yes.
Legal custody?
Yes.
Okay. But you're suggesting that you paid $600 for the phone and you want not just the $600 that you say you paid, but also $579 so you want 2 phones. Why are you suing for 2 phones?
Because we have the, this is the new one, the one she has now that we had to purchase.
She's 16 and you've bought her how many new iPhones?
Well, her mother bought her one.
Okay.
Well, was this your third?
I think it's my second.
Second.
Nah, it's your third. Your first one, you lost, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is my third. And how do I know that? Because according to your daughter, in your answer to the complaint, your daughter tells you that the plaintiff lost her other iPhone. Then the one that from that evening is number 2, and this one's number 3, right? Mm-hmm. 3 iPhones, 16. Okay. Maybe if she has lost 2 phones already, she shouldn't have such an expensive little gadget. Tell me, so what's the, let's just assume, let's go with the guy idea that somehow, but why would she be responsible? Because she allowed them to stay there? Because
she apologized
it's the girls
disappearing.
Huh?
She apologized to ISIS for it disappearing.
Well, she's full of bad decisions. Right? Letting the boys stay there, apologizing for something she didn't do. But how is she legally responsible for your granddaughter losing her phone?
Because it was on her property. It was in her home.
Yeah, that's not how it works. You have to have some legal theory of something she did wrong. For example, she knows these kids are hoodlums and she lets them in her house. She's got to know they're hoodlums.
Well, she didn't know them.
Well, they didn't steal it because your daughter's own testimony is that she looks down and it's 6 o'clock. And they're being escorted out. Well, so it's more likely that I don't know if your testimony's to be believed, then maybe Yasmin took it. I don't know. Yasmin lives there, but you got to be able to prove things in order to, I can't just say, hey, happened on your property, boom. Can you imagine? You got 16-year-olds in your house, they do something bad, and no matter what, it's your property, so absolutely everything is your fault no matter what. That's not how the law works. It's just not. You would have to be able to pin it on her somehow that she did something, not just that she stole it. She could be doing something else negligent, like she knows they are thieves and she lets them in, or but you don't have any of that. You don't even have proof that Chris took it. In fact, you've just disproven that Chris took it. And so what are we left with? You lost your phone. Based on what I've heard, I cannot order this lady to pay for 2 phones, the old one and the new one. Which would put you ahead of the game, $1,179. And based on what I've heard, I'm not going to order to pay for 1 phone. And do you have Find My iPhone on
Yes, it was turned off. My phone was turned off. That's how I know someone stole it.
Right.
Because they did it right away.
I fell asleep with my phone on and
I once tracked my phone to another part of Miami.
Ooh.
Actually, it was my daughter's phone. And I had a few old friends in that department from my prosecutor days, and we actually went on a search and tracked it down to a certain house, and then they turned it off. And then I just thought it was kind of crazy to proceed with this, and because it was just a phone. But yeah, Find My iPhone's awesome until somebody gets it who's a pro. So I don't know what to tell you, sweetheart. I don't know where you lost your phone. I don't know how sure you are. I don't know. It's just one of those things, but I'm not going to make her pay for that. Verdict for the defendant.
Well, without any definite proof of who stole the phone or where it wound up or why, how can you possibly expect the judge to pin it on the defendant?
Because I feel like it was in her home. She should have been responsible for the company that her daughter keeps.
Well, you understand now from the ruling and how the judge explained it that that's not the way the law works.
It's not, I guess.
Right? So what do you think happened to the phone?
I have no idea. I know someone took it because my phone's not going to turn off by itself.
Okay. Right down this way. Follow Officer McIntosh this way. Okay, step on in here. What do you think happened to the phone?
I don't know.
It happened in your house.
Weird.
Great idea or not such a great idea to have these boys staying over until 6:30 in the morning with the girls?
Bad idea.
Okay, what do you think happened to the phone?
Somebody took it?
Who?
I don't.
Harvey?
Okay, this one's real simple. You have to prove your case with facts. What the plaintiff in this case tried to do is prove it with theories, and it doesn't cut it.